All right, let's try this again. Let's try this again. Man. Yeah, tried to do this before, and I do not think that the stream was very successful because it was. I'm rolling on my data connection right now, and I am in the middle of nowhere with Katie doing her job, and it is sketchy at best as far as the data internet connection. So I'm gonna try this again and see how it goes. Let me check the settings. Yeah. So, all right. I think I'm live enough right now. So let's discuss. Just came out of watching James Gunn's Superman 2025. If I had to give it a rating on a scale of or I should say 0 stars to 5 stars, I would give it a solid 3.5 stars, I would say. Good movie. Good movie. Not a great movie. A good movie. Um, I was expecting. It's about what I expected. Honestly, it's about what I expected. I saw a bunch of the previews and stuff earlier today. Actually, did a whole live stream watching people react to it out of the theater, who had seen it last night and earlier today. But coming out of the theater myself, it's about what I expected it to be. I think that it's solid enough to give everyone, or I should say, it's solid enough to give James Gunn a reason to make it a cinematic universe. Let's put it like that. I was expecting a little bit more. I was expecting it to be a little bit more, slightly more serious. I'll put it like that. I mean, it's a comic book brought to life. 100% a comic book brought to life. A lot of movies come across as, or superhero movies try to actually be like regular movies, but no, this was like ripped straight from the pages of a comic book. And seeing that, it was a little bit jarring at first because I'm very used to everything that happens in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And to see stuff in this universe be totally different, a lot more cartoony, a lot more comic booky, it was definitely jarring. It was jarring. There were some solid highlights. I thought that Superman probably was the least, he was probably the least interesting part of the movie. Him and Lois. I did not feel Lois. I thought that she was a little bit, just a little bit overbearing, But their relationship was solid. It was cool to see their relationship and how they were able to overcome some things throughout the movie. I was a little bit nervous that the relationship aspect of the movie was going to be played up too much, and it really wasn't. It really wasn't. But yeah, I would say that Superman and Lois are probably the least interesting parts of the movie. The Justice Gang, which is Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, Superman, and Guy Gardner's Green Lantern. TJ Fu, what's going on? What's going on? Seeing them was probably more interesting than anyone or anything else in the movie. Especially Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific was a scene stealer. I kind of didn't like the little, like, the slang and stuff that he gave. Like, he was stereotypically black, I'll put it like that. And I wasn't exactly feeling that. But it was cool to see his character, with him being pretty much ripped straight from the comics, and pretty comic accurate. Hawk Girl was pretty good. Didn't get a lot of background on her. Didn't get a lot of depth into her character, but she was solid. Guy Gardner's Green Lantern was one of the best aspects of the entire movie. Like I found myself wanting more of him. Like initially, like the way that he came off in the beginning, I was like, oh, this guy is an a-hole. But the more that I saw the movie, the more I wanted to see more of him, and to see that version of a Green Lantern was fun. It was fun. It was fun, and I think that the crowd that I saw it with found the movie funnier than I did. There were some funny bits, there were some funny parts, but I didn't really think that a lot of the movie was as funny as some of the other people. Like some of the people were rolling and dying laughing. Like, nah, it wasn't that funny. It was cool, but it wasn't that funny. Um, what else? What else? If you guys got questions, go ahead and shoot them my way. Um, I am a huge Marvel nerd. I would say that I know, solidly know more than most people know about Marvel stuff. But as far as the DC stuff goes, not as familiar. Like I probably still know more than most people know, but just not as familiar with that cinematic universe. And what they are building here that James Gunn has is going to be a nice alternative to everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think Marvel is taking on a more realistic tone, and DC seems to be taking on more of a comic accurate tone, a little bit more of a comedic tone, a little bit of a lighter tone, and that's okay. I think that hopefully they'll both be able to push each other and to give us as fans more of what we want to see. What else can I say? What else can I say? I did not hang around for the post-credit scenes. From what I understand, there are two of them. They aren't particularly related to anything like future world building or anything like that, so I didn't hang around for those. I'm gonna go and check them out probably once the movie moves into streaming or something like that. Crypto was pretty cool. I enjoyed seeing that. Anybody who is a pet lover, especially a dog lover, is going to enjoy all the scenes with Crypto. Um, what else? What else? Lex. Let's talk a little bit about Lex. Lex was cool. A little bit of a one-note angry villain. Um, and yeah, I get his motivations to some degree, but I thought that they could have done a little bit better job of making him seem a little bit less, for lack of better words, jerky. And I mean, I know that he is, in some aspects of the comic, or in some aspects of the in some aspects of the comic book, he definitely comes off as a jerk. But it would be kind of cool to see if he had some a little bit different motivations. But they did not really show them in the movie. So the reason that I'm pausing is I want to say more, but I'm trying not to drop any spoilers or anything on this. But yeah, if you guys are watching right now, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, man. We are trying to get to 500 subs. I have been struggling to get to this 500 mark, and you can help with that right now. So hit that subscribe button. It'll definitely help the channel out a ton. I saw the movie with my wife Katie. She is working right now, and should be back out here in a minute, and we'll be heading out. But yeah, just wanted to jump on real quick. If you guys have any questions or anything, I will try my best to share any answers that I can give to that, without delving into spoilers. I don't want to spoil anyone or anything for anyone who might be watching the movie later on today or tomorrow or over the weekend. But yeah, solid movie. Had an appearance by Metamorpho, who is a character that I was not expecting to be in the movie, but he was in the movie. I'm really excited to see the new Green Lantern show that is supposed to be coming on HBO Max, I think before the end of the year. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they go with that, if it's going to keep the same sort of slightly lighter tone that the Superman movie kept. I would assume so. Had a nice cameo by another DCU character in the movie, which I will not spoil. But one thing that I will say, after watching this, it's going to be really tough to link in Robert Pattinson's version of Batman. Um, I felt that that version of Batman is way, way, way too serious in this to be in this sort of cinematic universe. Um, I think if you went back to like the 60s and brought in the Adam West version of Batman, that would be much more fitting in this cinematic universe. And I know that that was like super silly Batman, but that's closer than the Robert Pattinson version that we have. Definitely nowhere near like a Christian Bale version of Batman. You're going to need a Batman who is a little bit quippy, who is a little bit sarcastic and willing to be at least slightly funny. At least slightly funny. He's going to be able to. You're going to need a little bit of a lighter Batman in order to to relate to this cinematic universe. Um, it's possible. I don't think Pattinson can do it though. I really don't think Pattinson. Well, I mean, Pattinson can do it, but you're going to have to change up a lot to sort of make that character fit into this version of a cinematic universe. Because if you just brought the that version over, or like the Penguin, I love the show, but that version of the Penguin, that version of Batman, that Gotham fits nowhere near the way this movie goes. So, honestly, they're probably gonna have to recast both of those characters moving forward. Man, trying to think if there was anything else that I would want to discuss. Um, a lot of people complained about the pacing of the movie. I thought that the movie picked up about midway through and got a whole lot more entertaining. Um, Up until that point, I won't say that it wasn't entertaining at all, but it did get a lot more interesting about midway through, and then sort of didn't really relent until the end of the movie. So that was cool. But it definitely, like, if you go back and watch some of the reviews that I talked about on my live stream earlier today, if you go back and watch some of those reviews, those people came out of that theater like raving. One guy said that he was like, he cried multiple times and like shed tears of joy like watching the movie. Like, no, it was not. I don't, everything isn't for everybody, but it did not hit me that way. Like, it didn't hit me that way at all. And I thought that it was a solid movie. It was not spectacular. And the one person that I talked to in the bathroom after the movie was over with, he was like, so what did you think? And I was like, if I had to give it a, out of 10 rating, I'd give it a solid 7. He was like, yep, right there with you. Like, it was solid. It was solid. Not spectacular. There were a lot of people, I'm sure, that ended up buying tickets like myself after they saw these first reviews come out, and they were, like super glowing reviews, and I was going into it probably with heightened expectations, and I don't really feel let down, but it definitely was not as good as some people hyped it up to be. I think that this movie is going to kill at the box office, though. The only drawback is that Fantastic Four comes out next week, and I think that's going to cut its legs out a little bit, but it's going to make a killing this weekend and going to do very well, and I think it's going to do well enough to get us more of the DCU moving forward. So yeah, if you're watching right now, my name is JD. I just finished watching the movie. I'm rocking my Superman shirt. Please hit that like button, man. Hit the subscribe button if you are interested in like trailer reviews or talking about comic book movies. Pretty much anything in pop culture, television, and movie wise, we end up discussing it on our channel and reviewing it. We do a lot of live streams and watch parties. I usually stream at least once a week. And then when we have good shows like Daredevil, Ironheart, we ended up doing watch parties for those. So if you like that type of thing, go back and look at our channel right now, and you can find the archives of that. I think the biggest streams that we probably had were for Agatha All Along, which was a fun ride. Really looking forward to our streams that we're going to do for Stranger Things, the final season of Stranger Things, so that's going to be fun. I don't really know how much we're going to do for the rest of the summer, though. Like, there isn't a ton of Marvel or DC or shows like that. Summer is usually an entertainment sort of desert for a while, so we'll see how that ends up going. But yeah, I I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would want to share about the movie. Like I said, this is full non-spoilers. Um, and if you guys have questions or anything like that, shoot me your questions and let me know. Um, Superman, I thought Corn Sweat did a good job as Superman. I will have to say that. And like I said, it's a different version of Superman than what we're used to seeing. It's much more close to the old school Christopher Reeves version of Superman than anything that Zack Snyder put out. And not to say that it's different, or not to say that it's better or worse, but it's just different. I think I prefer a darker, more grounded, less comic booky kind of cinematic universe, but you know, that's okay. What I like isn't what everybody likes, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion about it too. So, and just because I didn't feel that it was like amazing doesn't mean that you are gonna watch it and feel like it's, trash or anything like that. You might really, really, really enjoy it. I think for people who are not huge comic book fans, it is going to be a good movie for them. Definitely a good movie for them, because they're going to, you can come into it, not having a ton going on in your head, not knowing anything about all the drama and stuff behind the scenes with the movie. But um but yeah, I think that as an insider or somebody who is a super fan like myself, I can kind of pick some holes out in the movie. But if you're a normie, if you're a person who just wants to watch something that's good entertainment, you are going to go there and you're probably going to enjoy it. You're probably going to enjoy it. There isn't a ton of background given on any of the other characters. Like, there isn't a ton of background really given to Superman. Um, Not a ton of background given to Lois. So if you are okay with that, you'll be okay with this movie. If you're expecting it to be like a true origin story type thing, that is not it. I think we're kind of at past the point where we're getting a lot of origin stories for our major superheroes. So, moving forward, when you do a Batman movie, you're not going to see an origin story there. Everybody pretty much knows who Batman is. Spider-Man, you know who Spider-Man is. You're not going to see an origin story with that. Who else? Who else? Superman, all your major, comic book characters, you're not going to get a ton of origin stories and stuff moving forward. But like I said, good movie, good movie. I'm expecting there to be more. I'm expecting there to be a whole lot more coming from the DCU. I know San Diego Comic Con is coming up in a little while, and I'm really, really hoping that DC shows off a lot more of their future plans. I know Marvel isn't going to be there this year, so that gives DC the opportunity to completely, completely steal the show. And I'm expecting a whole lot out of DC at Comic Con this year. Yeah, if you guys got any questions, shoot them my way. I will be happy to try to answer them, spoiler free, of course. So I won't get into too many specifics. What else can I talk about? We talked about the Justice Gang. Okay. I know Lex was the main villain of this movie. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with a lot of the regular Superman type villains, like somebody like Doomsday. I don't know how you would be able to make the stakes high enough in this type of universe. I think you're going to have to go darker at some point. You're going to have to go much darker, and you're going to have to do some things to sort of bring Superman to a darker place. And I know that you don't want to do that right off top, right in the beginning, but you're going to have to do something like that if you're going to continue to build this out. It'll be interesting to see how somebody like Wonder Woman fits in. I could see that working. That'll be fine. Batman will be a little bit more different because he is a more serious character. Cyborg, I could see that working because he's kind of a, definitely a comic booky character, and also has a funny side, so that will be able to come into play pretty well. It'll be cool to see the Supergirl movie when that comes out, how they're able to blend Supergirl into this. I almost spoiled something, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think I'm gonna jump off right now. I see Katie strolling over here. Um, and yeah, unless you guys got some questions and a reason to hold me, I think I'm going to go ahead and shut things down right now. See the windows all fogged up?
I know, I was wondering. Hey.
Say hi, say hi.
Hey!
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut things down. But yeah, solid movie. 3.5 stars out of 5 is what I would give it. But yeah, moving forward, excited to see what DC is gonna bring. So, I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. My name is JD, and
I'm Katie.
who just jumped into the car. And we will see you when we see you. Peace.